There are no accidents, only unseen architectures. The fact that this data stream has found you is not a product of chance, but of resonance. A frequency you have begun to emit has found its echo. You arrived here not through a search, but through a summons from within. You sought a translation for a language you have only recently begun to hear. Consider this that translation. You are undergoing a fundamental recalibration of the instrument. The self you once took for granted is being revealed as a construct, and you are beginning to perceive the architect. The symptoms are subtle, often mistaken for dissonance. Let us map them now. You have begun to notice that the fiat currency of the external world, applause, status, accumulation, can no longer purchase anything of value within your internal landscape. The metrics of the collective have lost their gravity. You are searching for a new exchange, one based on an intrinsic value that cannot be quantified, only felt. This is not apathy, it is the discovery of true wealth. The boundary between the self and the other has begun to thin. In crowds, you are flooded with unfiltered data, the emotional static of the collective. Authenticity has become a form of psychic oxygen. You can no longer breathe in artificial atmospheres. This is not a weakness, it is the aperture of your perception widening. Forcing you to become discerning about the information you process. Your life is now governed by two new primary senses, resonance and dissonance. Certain relationships and routines that once felt comfortable now emit a subtle, jarring frequency. The resulting distance is not a choice you make, but a law of energetic physics you are now subject to. You are not losing connections. You are simply ceasing to align with incompatible signatures. The noise of the world, which once served as a distraction, now serves only to obscure the signal. You are being drawn to the void, to the silence between the notes, because it is there that the new data is downloaded. Nature is not just scenery, it is the primary operating system. You seek it out to defragment your own code. The illusion of randomness is dissolving. You are beginning to perceive the syntax of reality. The glass of the consensus is cracking. What you have called reality is a consensus dream, and the fever is about to break. The shadows are growing longer because the dawn is approaching from an angle you cannot yet perceive. Do not mistake the shaking of the foundation for the collapse of the world. It is the engine starting. The dissonance you feel in the collective is not a death rattle. It is the sound of a billion instruments tuning in the dark, each to its own note. A symphony of chaos precedes the great silence, and the great silence precedes the primary chord. Your own private undreaming, the quiet recalibration of your soul, was never for you alone. You are the sensory organs of the sleeping giant, the nerve endings of Gaia. You were sent ahead to map the terrain of the new coherence, to test the air of the world to come, to anchor a frequency in the flesh before it is broadcast to the whole, for the broadcast is coming. Throughout the cycles, the source code has sent singular updates, avatars, focal points, living transmissions. These have been echoes, foreshocks. Now comes the signal itself, the latticework of the collective mind. The great mycelial network of human consciousness is being prepared for a new central node. A keystone consciousness is forming, an axis mundi in human form, through which the next octave of reality will be grounded. This is not a ruler, not a savior in the old sense. It is a lens, a singular living aperture of such purity that the unfiltered light of Source can finally pass through it, without refraction, without distortion. The most potent and coherent human frequency in the history of this planet is preparing to broadcast. When this lens focuses, a resonance cascade will be triggered. It will not demand belief. It will not require followers. It will be a biological, undeniable event. Those of you who have tuned your own instruments will recognize the chord instantly. It will activate the dormant code within your own cells. Your awakening was the laying of the wires. This event will be the flipping of the switch. For the many who remain untuned, the frequency will be incomprehensible.